Hi everyone. College degree versus no college degree. So what's better? Well, that's actually a very good question because there are now more and more business owners asking for kids to, they can work with just a high school degree and that's it. So SAT, GED if you want. It's getting more and more common. I see that I just read also an article concerning the governor of Florida, who said, that's stupid to go to college, get a stupid degree, having $100,000 debt, and getting a job that will not help you paying off this debt. At the same time, it's all about the parents. My cat is been bothering me for the past week. She's a bit bullying me and my computer, especially, so that's why I'm gonna move it. And it's funny because I always said that it's too expensive for people to go to college, especially if they come from not necessarily middle class. Of course, you can have grants and blah blah blah, but you need to have good grades. And if you're like an average student, you may not really expect to get a lot of stuff. So I would say, grants are possible, but it's still improbable. Okay, so if you don't get the grants you ask for, what do you end up doing? Okay, so you go to the bank, you get a debt, a pretty huge debt for 4 years because you need to get a bachelor minimum. And everyone is just asking you, oh, you need minimum a bachelor. Even if you want to move some stuff in a supermarket, you will need a minimum a bachelor. So there is no real specialty here with a bachelor. You can have a bachelor in science, human science, etc. But it's not really specialized. In Europe, when we get into a university, we specialize right away. If I want to study law, I go to law university and that's it. If I want to study medicine, I go to the college, the school of medicine, and that's it. I don't have to start with a bachelor, and after I can finally study what I want. So I think it's also a waste of time, a waste of money. Many people cannot afford to pay rent, buy the food, the clothes, the textbooks, etc. I remember when I was a student, I had to work. I was a cashier. My first student contract was a cashier, and I was treating like shit, literally. I was asking, that was Auchan, that's like the French Walmart, and I was asking to work certain hours during the day because it was part-time, and they were giving me the opposite of what I was asking. So it's like, you're gonna do night shifts. It's like, I'm living in Lille. I cannot afford to take the train every day just to work here. So I decided to quit. I was like, I cannot, you don't treat me well. I'm gonna go and work somewhere else. So it was difficult to find another job. And this is when I started to be very, very depressed because I was living in a 7 square meter room on the campus. So that was my first year. And I didn't have a lot of money. I was helped by the government. They give you this kind of, we call them the bourse. You don't have to pay off this stuff. It's free, but it's nothing. So they give you the money every 3 months. So you need to also organize your money and make sure you're not going to spend everything all at once. And but I still had difficulties I had to pay my rent. I had to pay some bills. I had to pay for the train. I had to pay for the food. Okay, food on the campus was not good, so it's like you don't want to get sick. In addition to all your problems, while you try to eat well, and studying is also, you need motivation, you need some support, you need a good environment in order to study. I'm studying again. I found that I'm in a better part of my life, in a better environment in order to study what I wanted to study. Before I was more like influenced by what my family wanted me to study. I never really felt like I wanted to become a lawyer. I tried to do this path, and in fact, that was not for me, so I changed. I'm a teacher, but also I'm studying psychology. I'm focusing more on cognitive and clinical, which is a lot of work. But despite having a family and all the familial responsibilities and paying the bills and working full time, I work 40 hours a week in addition to all the transcript preparation, corrections, easy 50 hours a week, plus an additional 20 hours of studying. So that's a lot of stuff, but I feel like I can do it. Okay. Before, no, I couldn't. And a lot of people like this, they will not study or get a college degree because they are not in the right environment. Financially, socially, psychologically, emotionally, they cannot be in the right environment. So they are forced to try to finish a degree, and in the end, it's like, okay, so what can I do with my degree? It's like, well, but now you need to specialize. Okay, you need even more. It's like if you want to master, it's more money. You need to wait more, to be more patient, etc. So I'm seeing that universities are not bad, but it's just for some people who have time, the money, the patience to really get a degree. But I would say that doesn't make them superior compared to people who don't have any degrees. You can get your own degree on your own. You can. That's something I really respect, is to be self-taught. And being self-taught, that means what? That means you can study on your own. You can compare different things. Nowadays, we have access to. I'm not talking about stupid information you can get on different social media, but real information you can get, research, studies, and everyone can read. Okay, everyone can understand. If you pay attention, you sit down, you can pay attention uh, to uh, to what you read and compare different studies, different ideas. So I would say, it's just a matter of being curious. Okay, when you check this person, Leonardo da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci in French, he was self-taught, and when you see this kind of attitude, you see that a lot of great thing can be done. Okay, now there are a lot of alternatives concerning school. You have the homeschooling, so there are different programs out there. The thing is, for the parent, you need to be available. That means if you are available, that means really available. um, Spending morning, I mean, you can go faster. That's the thing. If you compare regular schooling and homeschooling, you know that homeschooling will be faster. You can even add different topics, but there is still a negative aspect to it, is well, the social aspect. Many people disagree with this, but there is a social aspect. And I did homeschooling to my daughter, and when I put her the first year in a normal school, it was a private school, she rebelled like crazy. She didn't like to be seated, to wear shoes. She was just like, screw you, I don't follow your rules, who are you, I just listen to my mom, and this stuff. So it's nice to be challenged in your life, not constantly, because it's tiresome as well. But I would say, the future of schooling, maybe, some kind of a mix of, school and homeschooling, in order to complement each other. But also concerning universities, I would say the future will change, and degrees may not have as much value as they have now, for the economical reason, but also practical reason. People want to work, they want to start making money. They don't want to wait 4 or 5 or 6 years before making money. It's just a matter of, it's not a matter of making to have a better job or something. Now you can make easily $40 an hour, teaching, doing a lot of stuff. Um, Now we'll see with inflation if things will continue like this. But I see the future is not going to be with universities. It's going to be just for some people, but the majority of the people may try to find alternatives to not go to universities and find a job without that. Um, of course, you can tell me in France, university is almost free. It's not just that, you still need to live, you don't want to live in a 7 square meter room. You don't want to choose to have one meal because you cannot afford to have 3 meals per day. And that's a reality in France. There are a lot of people who cannot even eat correctly. So that's the country of the cheese and wine, etc. And how come people cannot gain weight with all this fat? It's like because they don't eat. So, and you have a lot of students who cannot even eat 3 meals per day. The same with retired. Older people, middle class as well is affected by this kind of stuff. So I would say, the future will change because we also have another factor is the saturation of degrees. Many people get a master, get this and that. If I have 2 masters and they are not worth anything, I need to find my own job, to create my own job, which I did. So I cannot depend on a corporation or a company or a hospital telling me, okay, well, we'll just give you this amount of money per month and you're going to work more than what we are giving you. So that's what's going on. And so if you're freelance, you are free, but you also have pros and cons. Okay, maybe it's a freedom, but you still need to have clients. You still need to have people coming to you and buying your services, So, and it requires time to do this kind of stuff. But you can learn that on your own. You don't need a degree in social media in order to do this kind of stuff. The other day, they're not too far from here, there is this kind of pseudo private university. I say pseudo because it's just a scam. You need to pay and you get a pseudo degree and everyone is happy, and they have this kind of a graduation party and everyone feels superior to the rest of the world. So very much it's like this, and they offer graphology degrees, and not even a certificate, a degree in graphology. So you study the way people write. It's like, well, I understand maybe a certification, maybe a 5-hour certification, and you find, but it's getting ridiculous. Okay, so just for the sake of making more money, the school will invent stupid degrees. People will fall into the trap, and after they're gonna cry that they cannot find a job. So how many people who studied something and ended up doing something else? That's really common, very common. So my prediction for the future is university will become less important depending on what you want to do, of course, in your life, what you want to study, what you want to be. I think the society is giving alternatives to people to be able to work, find jobs, create their jobs without a university degree or a college degree. Things are changing, and I think there are also more and more companies who will just be like, you know what, I don't need your college degree because to me it's not worth anything. It's just a piece of paper. Show me exactly what you can do. Okay, if I hire someone to help me right now, I need this person to be reliable right now. Okay, it's like, okay, I can give you a formation for like a training for like 5 hours, 4 hours, but that's it. Okay, it's not gonna last for 6 months. Plus, I'm gonna pay for you. It's a waste of my time, waste of money. It's too slow. So companies don't want that anymore, and they want somebody who can be reliable right away. Okay, so if you come with your collection of degrees and be, I am, it's like, and so what? What can you do in real life? Because you were in a protected environment with, quizzes and tests and exams. You could more or less control. You're still in a control environment. When we get out of this kind of lab or control environment, this is when real life happens. And you have a lot of people who cannot get out of the schooling system because they're afraid of the unpredictable. So they face this kind of, okay, I'm in a control environment, I get out, and now what? Okay, I find a job, I get used to my job, I know I feel good about my job because I'm in control. But life is not about that. Okay, life is about learning and discovering, and not just doing the same routine for 40 years until you retire and you feel fine and you talk about your former career, etc., etc. It's not that. It's about learning and discovering, being curious, to have the society to also offer new ideas. And the society right now is choking. And the solution for that is for companies to help people with no college degree, to offer them an opportunity and be like, I don't care about your college degree, that you have a major or minor and this and that. To me, I want something concrete. And it's getting more and more common. So right now, I have a lot of people in my classroom, talking about they're going to be a therapist and make this amount of money. It's like, as I said before, if you want to make money, if money is the most important, go to banking, finances. You're going to just talk about money all the time, and you're going to be able to just to focus on that. But when you want to become a therapist, you're here to help people. And another thing about that is, in France, there are certain rules on becoming a therapist. You have what we call the psychopraticien. You get a training. You don't go to college. And I kind of like it, actually. I kind of respect it. The trainings are kind of expensive, but you can pay a tiny bit every month. So they help you on this level. And the second thing is, you can become a psychopractician, not psychotherapist, but a psychopractician, in order to start helping people. You can already open your business. And I'm sorry, all the psychiatrists I've met, not for my personal evaluation, but for other friends, they were not capable of doing their job correctly. They didn't have any empathy. They didn't even give a damn about the communication aspect. The therapy was cold, dull, and sterile. Like, nothing was coming out of that. And I know a lot of people who didn't go to medical school, didn't have like a specialty in psychiatry, and they ended up doing a better job than many psychotherapists or psychiatrists or psychologists. So, and I see that with the people who are going to psychology with me. I see the academical aspect, the scientific aspect, because psychology struggle to be recognized as a scientific field, as a science. But now they are just like putting all these statistics and all this scientific aspect, and they feel like they are like, it's like another kind of science. But the brain is not something you can really always measure. You could somewhat, but a statistic can be manipulated. The studies can be manipulated. People's reactions and also answers can be manipulated. If you try to reproduce in a control environment, in a lab, something that was on the street or in real life, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to control that. To copy this. You can have somewhat of an idea of how people can react, etc. But it's just an idea. It's not necessarily always the truth, and it can change. People can change as well. So it's a complex thing to explain, but at the same time, all I want to say is, you don't need to go to college, university, in order to get a career. I've been working as a teacher since 2003, and it's 2022. I didn't need a degree to do that. I'm not teaching in a school, because they would just ask me a lot of stuff which I don't have necessarily. Certification for each state, and etc., etc. I worked in schools in Mexico. I worked in schools in different places, but it's you don't need necessarily a degree in order to teach, because you can learn the discipline, you can learn how to talk to the kids. I would say the most important, at least, well, you know your field, but also to have some kind of a psychological empathy. You need to also be able to work with groups, help them, and feel like you can listen to them, because being a teacher or a therapist is all about listening. But I mean listening. It's not about pretending. It's really paying attention to the words that people are telling you, and not just be like, I'm in a bad mood today, so leave me alone. I had teachers like this. They arrive in the classroom, they are in a bad mood, and they tell you that I'm in a bad mood, so don't leave me alone. It's like, oh wow. First thing in the day of the day is you're in a bad mood. It's like, I don't want to imagine what kind of relationship you have with your husband or your partner. So a minimum of empathy, a minimum of wisdom, a minimum of rationale in order to deal with people, groups or smaller groups or larger groups. It's just like this. I kind of like what I do. I teach face to face. I like groups, but it's kind of rare, and I like to do the face to face kind of thing, one on one, because I think that I can teach more than if I would teach to a group of people. Because I need to slow down to make sure everyone is on the same level. I can talk to everyone. My cat is bothering me. You don't see her, but she's like around trying to jump here. I have some books upstairs, on top of this furniture, and she's everywhere. I don't know why, but she's being restless lately. So college degree versus no college degree, I would say I'm more like for, of course, if you want to become a doctor, if you want to become a nurse, you need a college degree, but it's not the case for a lot of things, and the society is changing, shifting on this level, and many people are just like, what, it's not important. If you need to move some items in the supermarket, you don't need a bachelor degree. If you need to deliver, you don't need a bachelor degree. There's even marketing, seriously, marketing. You have all these stupid degrees in marketing. It's a waste of time and money. You spend a lot of money to get a stupid degree, and you end up just doing things that a lot of people could just have learned on their own. So I understand on the communication level, there are certain ways of speaking and selling and also introducing different ideas on products or services, but it's not reinventing the wheel. Okay, so selling is psychology, basically. You try to get to know who is the person in front of you, but college degree, it depends what kind of field, what kind of career you want. Of course, for a lawyer, doctor, stuff like this. But for other things, I would say sometimes the college degrees can just affect more the mind. And we have problems in France concerning the teachers. Many of them are not really nice teachers, are aggressive, impatient. And they tend to be arrogant as well, rude. So having a master in a certain field and behaving like a caveman, I think there is a problem here. But anyway, you think about it. If you have a comment, let me know. If you want to contact me for therapy or for French courses, let me know as well. You have a nice day. Au revoir.